At the dawn of the 20th century, the first airplane took flight over North Carolina. The flight was short and overall pretty unimpressive, but it set the groundwork for everything to come. Today, we have all sorts of airplane and technologies associated with them that defines the modern era, especially when it comes to military technology. The king of the skies in that category is the fifth generation fighter. And today on War Made Simple, we'll take a look at the different fifth generation aircraft in different inventories around the world, and overall, what a fifth generation fighter is. Hey guys, Bill here. Welcome back to another video. And today we finally, after so long, am getting to the fifth generation fighter. So I apologize for the delay on that. It's been on my docket for a while. Here it is. So let's talk about it. Before we go into the different fighters in the different nations, I do want to talk about what a fifth generation aircraft is. So overall, generational aircraft have started since the jet age once the 1950s-ish hit, with the first groupings being Generation 1 and the most recent being Generation 5. The difference between each category is specific technologies normally. So let's look at the fifth generation aircraft. What makes it different than the prior generations? Well, first off, it has an ability known as supercruise, and this means the aircraft is able to move at supersonic speeds without the use of an afterburner. So much higher speed for a longer period of time. The next is its avionics suite and battle space awareness. It's able to pretty much have a whole picture of what's going on around it and use that data to better inform the pilot on how to handle the situation. The third type of technology is maneuvering. These aircraft are able to run circles around their fourth generation counterparts, making them far better in any sort of dogfight scenario. The fourth and final technology that makes a fifth generation aircraft is probably viewed as the most defining technology, and that's stealth capabilities. Stealth capabilities allow these aircraft to go into enemy airspace undetected, hence the name stealth. However, the variation between how stealthy an aircraft can be is kind of jumpy between different frames, so we'll talk about kind of how they fall when we discuss the different nations. So those are all the characteristics that make a fifth generation aircraft a fifth generation aircraft. But with that out of the way, what aircraft are fifth generation? How many do we have and who else has them? Well, America has two different variations, being the F-35 and the F-22, and both of them conduct different roles. The F-35 is meant for multi-role use, meaning it's able to pretty much do a whole bunch of things at once, primarily battle space control and awareness, and conducting a variety of different operations in the field. This aircraft actually has three different variations: the F-35A for the Air Force, the F-35B for the Marine Corps, and lastly the F-35C for the US Navy. Each one of these aircraft have all different roles within them, and I'm not going to get into that today, but it overall performs these roles very well. It's also the most produced fifth generation aircraft in the world, with around 500 or so being made, with more on the way. That's because this aircraft is the only fifth generation fighter being exported to other nations. In the case of the United States, we're exporting to our NATO allies and to our allies in general, in this case, Japan, and I think South Korea is planning on ordering a few, though I could be wrong on that. So that's the F-35, but what about the F-22, America's other fifth generation aircraft? If you see this thing in the sky, run. This aircraft is probably the single most lethal thing in the air currently. And it's not because of the weapon payload it has or its maneuverability. It's due to one thing: stealth. This thing is smaller than a bumblebee when it comes to our radar cross sections. It is almost impossible to see on radar until it's on top of you. This gives the F-22 an edge in combat, as sometimes missiles won't even lock onto it during training exercises against other US aircraft. So F-22, probably one of the most deadly aircraft in the sky right now, if not the deadliest. So that's the American side of things. What about everyone else? There's only two other nations that have any sort of fifth generation aircraft, and that is China and Russia. Russia only has one, the Su-57, and this thing's had a mixed performance at best. First off, it hasn't been in any combat yet officially against other aircraft. It has conducted some operations over Ukraine from what I understand, but not any that put it directly in harm's way. The American F-22 has around 190-ish, just short of 200 F-22s in operation. The Russians only have 20 to 30 of the Su-57s currently in operation, so way lower, which means they don't want to put them at risk if they can help it. Additionally, their cross-section is much bigger on radar, and this is due to a couple design features in the plane that I'm sure someone in the comments below will point out. Overall, the plane isn't seen to be super stealthy, but it is stupid maneuverable. This thing is able to outspin and outturn anything in the air. So in terms of maneuverability, the Russians have an advantage very clearly on it. The Russians also have a second fifth generation aircraft in development, being the Checkmate, but it hasn't really gotten forward in development any further as far as I'm aware, and the Ukraine war has been draining a lot of resources for that program, so it's probably going to stay buried for a little bit. The last nation to operate fifth generation aircraft is going to be China. And China actually has two of these aircraft, one of which was, I think last week or the week before, deployed for the first time in actual service within their military, and that is the J-35. And if you look at it, it looks very, very similar to the F-35. A lot of people think that the Chinese mined out all the blueprints and designs for the F-35 and tried to reverse engineer them for their own aircraft. And this could be the case, and it seems to be the case in a lot of ways. However, this aircraft appears to be a little bit different from the F-35, primarily with the engine layout. It has two engines instead of one. This likely means that it is going to be a bit faster than the F-35. We don't know really anything about its avionics suite or its stealth capabilities just yet. I can't find information on it anywhere. If you guys know somewhere, I'd love to see it. Lastly, when it comes to the J-35, it's meant to be a carrier aircraft. So this is going to give China stealth capabilities at sea. The last fighter on our list for the day is the J-20, also known in China as the Mighty Dragon. This aircraft is kind of a fusion between American and Russian technologies. It has the maneuverability somewhat comparable to the Su-57, and it has some of the capabilities similar to the F-35 and the F-22. But it doesn't meet expectations in both categories. It kind of falls short. It's a nice middle ground of both ideas for aircraft. Full stealth and full maneuverability combined into one aircraft. We don't know how it'll perform in the field overall, but generally speaking, it might be a decent design, and China's put a lot of effort into this technology, getting 300 of these aircraft built, if not more at this point. So those are all the active aircraft in the fifth generation category. There are a couple being designed and built by other nations, notably Korea, Japan, Turkey. There's a bunch of nations trying to come out with these fifth generation aircraft. Currently, the United States and China don't appear to pursue any further technologies when it comes to fifth generation fighters. In fact, America is jumping straight to sixth generation, and that's a different topic for a different video. So that is all I have to say on fifth generation aircraft. I apologize again that it's taken me so long to make this. Even just this video segment that you're seeing probably took 50, 60 takes. I don't know why I had the issues with this one, but I did, and I apologize for the delays for a number of reasons. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed it. And next week, we'll have a continuation on our technology. So there will be a poll up probably today-ish, if not tomorrow, that will let you guys select the next technology we'll be going over. So with that being said, I'll see you guys on Friday, and I hope you all have a happy Veterans Day. Enjoy your day.